Hello, gang. Professor McElroy here. Welcome to week 2, Learning Module 2, February 2022, Design Study, aka Senior Project. Really good job week 1 on your Learning Module 1, selecting a nonprofit, developing a new brand for that nonprofit, and then applying the brand to an event poster so we can kick off our senior project as we develop multiple solutions amongst one consistent campaign using a consistent application of typography, color, texture, and imagery. And so we're going to start diving into Learning Module 2 this week. Remember, if you submitted anything for Learning Module 1 and it was graded and commented, aka critiqued, please take those comments into consideration to make adjustments to your Learning Module 1 assignments before you develop Learning Module 2's assignments. I am the Senior Art Director, aka the Marketing Manager for this particular course. That means that my word for the adjustments is your boss's word in the real world, and I expect some adjustments to be made based on my comments so that we can continue to apply and produce a beautiful senior project that's professionally applied and successful in nature. So remember, I'll be using the announcement section in order to post different comments as we kind of push through now into Learning Module 2, and we start taking your logo, your brand elements, your typography, and your color, and we start applying them to multiple media solutions. So we're going to be doing multiple solutions. This is a design study or a case study class. So let's go into our modules and let's spend just a few minutes talking about Learning Module 2. Great job with the creative brief. Good job with building your brand and applying that brand to a poster event. I enjoyed seeing which each one of you has done so far. Keeping in mind that this is the opportunity to build your own personal design style and design sense as we build this case study project. Every student will pick a different nonprofit, will develop its own unique style of application, its own understanding of visual communications. And in the end, my job as the creative director is to make sure that your style fits a successful application, meaning that it hits a home run with the customer or the audience, but it also stays true to what you do well as a creative thinker. So I'm going to try to push that envelope a little bit as we push through into our Learning Module 2 and our additional applications. And you're going to notice that Learning Module 2 has 3 projects. It has a postcard design, it has a t-shirt application, and it has a vehicle design. The postcard design, think of it as a reformatting of your poster design. All it is a 5x7 or proportionately equal postcard that represents the elements, the announcement elements of your poster design, right? You post posters around town in store windows, maybe on the side of buildings or in a community board of a coffee shop. And your postcard is, in essence, your poster on a smaller scale being mailed out to potential shoppers, customers, people that support your nonprofit. So keep that in mind as you're developing your postcard design. Yes, you're going to have to move. You're going to have to play with scale and proportion. You're going to have to adjust the elements of your poster design because the postcard obviously is smaller and has a slightly different proportion. If you did a landscape design in your poster, then I would think you would want to stay true to that and do a landscape design in your postcard. If you did a portrait or vertical design in your poster, I would think that you would want to do a vertical postcard design. And you cannot just select your poster and scale it down to the postcard proportions and think that it's going to be successful. You'll need to adjust elements based on the media delivery platform, but it should have the same feeling of your illustration or your imagery, your typography, your message, your headline, your tagline, any support copy, your logo placement, and all of the elements of your poster design. And you'll notice that in the request for your postcard design is that there is a front and a back to your postcard design. So you'll notice the front, in essence, is a reformatting and rescaling of your poster design. But the back of the postcard gives you an opportunity to be half branding, logo, event, and information, maybe mission of your nonprofit, and another half, which would be left blank, for the opportunity to list address, who you're mailing it to, and any little notation you would like to put. And you'll notice that most students mock a stamp up in the corner of the back side of the postcard just to reinforce the fact that it is a postcard. And you'll see some beautiful branding, some beautiful examples here of postcards. And you'll notice I did provide you a front and back template for your postcard. Also, remember that you will be producing a PDF for me. So let's try to see if you can replicate the essence of your event poster into a two-sided postcard for the first project of Learning Module 2. And if we scroll down, you're going to notice that we have also a t-shirt design and a vehicle graphic design. And you're also going to notice there's a chapter 3 presentation, a chapter 4 presentation, a chapter 5 presentation, and a chapter 5 part 2 presentation. Please make sure that you're at least reviewing the presentations. They are in lieu of a textbook for this course. Excellent information, excellent format, tons of great information in the presentations. Don't just skip those and immediately go to designing. I do know that this is a senior project level course, and that means you already have the basics of visual communication and graphic design, but you can always feed your brain with more. So please make sure you're feeding your brain with more as you're developing and producing your elements from Learning Module 2 to Learning Module 3 to Learning Module 4. All the way through the 4 learning modules. Make sure that we're improving, we're developing, we're enhancing, and we're showing, putting our best foot forward as to our design style and application at this point in time as a designer. So that will bring us down to the t-shirt project 2, and it's all about the elements of a t-shirt design. And most of you chose a vector style graphic for your poster that will translate very well to the t-shirt design. And remember that we have all of this interesting surface area for your t-shirt, a place for your logo, a place for your call to action, a place to apply shapes and color that are consistent with your poster design and your postcard design. You have a blank slate here to create a very eye-catching t-shirt design. Remember, repeating elements, repeating text, repeating logos, things that when we put them together as a case study, they look like a true one client, one campaign, one message case study. T-shirt design, pretty self-explanatory. And that brings us over to the third and final element in Learning Module 2, which is our vehicle graphics design, right? Every nonprofit has a vehicle, right? Everyone has a vehicle. We need to take our message, our logo for our nonprofit, our illustrations, our photos, our basic call to action, elements of our mission, and we need to create a vehicle graphic. Now, you'll notice that these are just 2 of the van templates that students use to create their message. And you also should notice from the event poster to the postcard to the van, this design is very consistent. The color palette, the choice of typography, the scale, the proportion, the graphic elements of the poster. So if you looked at the poster, the postcard, and the vehicle, very consistent. They chose to put the logo for the nonprofit on the door of the van and then use an angled treatment for typography and imagery to create a little energy, maximizing the side of the van for the elements. Really good case study. Both these students did a really good job of replicating the typography, the color, the graphic elements, the shapes, the unique branding, and applied it to multiple media to show one campaign, one case study across multiple surface solutions. So keep that in mind. Remember, as I give feedback, as I kind of critique the elements that you're submitting, let's be as consistent as possible. Let's be as dynamic and powerful as possible. Remember, text on an angle, stacking text, layering graphics, using the surface area are all important in all elements. This particular solution is being applied to something that moves, that's going to be viewed in motion. So keep that in mind. You don't want anything too close to the bottom of the van. You don't want anything too close to the back of the van. You want to make sure that there's a prime surface area for the audience who will be driving or moving next to you or standing on the side of the road to truly get the message. So you want bold imagery, bold graphics, things on an angle, bold colors, things that really catch the eye. You know from looking at vehicle graphics in the world, how turning something slightly on an angle, making something white on a black background, making things bold in stroke, in scale, in proportion, all are good things when creating a vehicle graphic. So just keep that in mind as you're doing your basic sketches. And try 3 variations of your design before you settle on one. It's like anything. The more you practice, the better you get. Don't just create one van graphic and say, wow, that looks great. That is a home run. I'm going to submit that one. Try a few, move elements around, shift them, change the scale, change the proportion, change the angle, layer things, change the color of the van, change the color of the shapes that you might be using to separate the elements on the van. Really spend time exploring scale and proportion. Remember, we want to generate a background element, a middle ground element, and a foreground element. So you want to make sure that your total design touches all 3 surface areas or planes of sight in your design. We really want to push the envelope of what we can do in every media we apply our designs to. I think everyone has done a pretty good job with the rebrand and the event poster. Now we want to take the critiques and apply them to a postcard design front and back, a t-shirt design, and a vehicle graphic. Elements from your event poster are already there. Now we just need to apply those elements to 3 additional solutions, 3 additional applications, 3 additional purposes, and they all have their own unique purpose. Postcard gets mailed, it's in your hand, t-shirt gets worn, people see it, van is moving, people ingest the message in motion. So 3 different elements, all of which are building a really good case study of event single-sided poster design, 2-sided postcard design, t-shirt design, which includes logo in screen printing application, and large-scale vehicle design, right? Your design's going to work in all kinds of different scales. Something big, something small, something medium. We're moving across the environment in a case study environment so that we can campaign across different applications. That's what your senior project or your case study is all about. So let's continue to improve our design as we apply each of our applications. And if we get critiques from any of the applications, let's go back and adjust some of our original designs to reflect the new, better campaign process that we're going on as we apply to different solutions. It doesn't mean we can't go back to our event poster if we create a really good vehicle graphic and the elements and the scale and the proportions and the dynamic quality of the vehicle. Maybe we were inspired with the vehicle and we want to go back and recreate the event poster to reflect some of the new design style that we use on the t-shirt or the postcard or the vehicle graphic. That is okay. You're going to be graded in your final submission for all of the designs and how cohesively they connect together and how well they build one campaign. So let's make sure we maximize our edits, our adjustments, our critique, so that we can build the very best resume portfolio piece that we possibly can. Good job so far, everyone. I can't wait to see what you do as we start to spread our wings with our campaign message and we start taking our brand and our basic campaign elements and start applying them to new, different, better, bigger solutions. Good job, everyone.